Yeah.
It was bad enough that all that money we'd earned and all that fame was going down the pan.
Let's set aside Paul McCartney's triumphs in music for a moment. His life reveals a darker narrative of bitter treachery, shattered hearts, and heartbreaking loss. Have you ever heard of it? There is a truth that his existence paints a portrait of profound complexity, marred by unforeseeable misfortunes. Now, just take a deep breath and brace yourself for the somber tale of his life. Let's start the video with an interesting admission from Paul McCartney. When reflecting on his upbringing, McCartney often expressed deep admiration for his parents and the people of Liverpool, describing them as the kind of people you need in life, salt of the earth. This phrase encapsulates the hard-working, genuine nature of the individuals who influenced his formative years. Among these influential figures, Paul's father, James McCartney Sr., played a particularly significant role. An accomplished trumpet player and pianist, James Sr. had a profound love for music, which infused the McCartney household with melodies and rhythms. The sound of music was a constant presence, creating an environment that was both nurturing and inspiring for young Paul. Paul McCartney's natural affinity for music became evident early on. He exhibited a remarkable talent for learning instruments by ear, a skill that set the foundation for his future musical achievements. Despite having no formal training, Paul's ability to pick up and play tunes on the piano showcased his innate musicality. His involvement in a local choir further nurtured his developing talents, providing him with opportunities to refine his vocal skills and gain confidence in his musical abilities. When Paul turned 14, his father presented him with a special gift, a nickel-plated trumpet. This gift was not only a token of encouragement, but also a reflection of his father's hope that Paul would follow in his musical footsteps. James Sr. saw great potential in his son and wanted to provide him with the tools to succeed. However, the arrival of rock and roll in the mid-1950s sparked a profound shift in Paul's musical interests. The energetic and rebellious spirit of rock and roll resonated deeply with him, capturing his imagination and igniting a passion that would shape his future. Eager to immerse himself in this exciting new genre, Paul realized that the trumpet, with its limitations in allowing him to sing while playing, would not suffice. He yearned for an instrument that would enable him to fully participate in the rock and roll experience. With this in mind, Paul made a bold decision. He exchanged the nickel-plated trumpet, a gift from his father, for an acoustic guitar, a 15-ounce Framus Zenith. This marked a pivotal moment in Paul's musical journey, setting him on a path that would eventually lead to global stardom. However, Paul's transition to the guitar was not without challenges. Being left-handed, he found the instrument difficult to play. The standard right-handed guitar posed a significant obstacle, making the learning process frustrating and cumbersome. Despite this setback, Paul's determination and resilience shone through. He refused to be deterred by this initial hurdle and embarked on a journey to adapt the guitar to his needs. Through persistent effort, he learned to restring the instrument for left-handed playing, demonstrating an early example of the innovative spirit that would come to define his career. Faced with the challenge of playing a right-handed guitar, McCartney found his solution in an unexpected place: a poster of the left-handed guitarist Slim Whitman. Inspired by Whitman's approach, McCartney reversed the order of the strings on his guitar, adapting it to fit his left-handed playing style. This simple yet transformative adjustment marked the beginning of a new chapter in his musical journey. With his Framus Zenith now properly configured, McCartney was ready to explore his creative potential. It was on this newly adapted guitar that he composed his very first song, "I Lost My Little Girl." The song, a heartfelt reflection of his early experiences, showcased his budding songwriting skills and foreshadowed the remarkable musical talent that would later define his career. Additionally, McCartney experimented with the piano, a family instrument that had been a part of his life since childhood. During this period, he penned another piece that would eventually become a timeless classic, When I'm 64. This song, with its nostalgic and whimsical charm, demonstrated McCartney's versatility and his knack for creating melodies that resonated across generations. While McCartney was discovering his own musical voice, he also sought to connect with other like-minded individuals who shared his passion for music. In 1954, at the age of just 12, he had a fortuitous encounter on a bus with George Harrison, a fellow Liverpool native who would later become one of his closest friends and bandmates. Despite their youth, McCartney and Harrison quickly bonded over their mutual love for music, laying the groundwork for a partnership that would have a profound impact on the music world. The friendship between McCartney and Harrison blossomed, but it was not long before another pivotal meeting would shape McCartney's future. At the age of 15, McCartney attended a social event at St. Peter's Church, where he first heard John Lennon and his band, the Quarrymen, perform. The band's unique sound, a fusion of rock and roll and skiffle, a genre characterized by its folk roots and energetic rhythms, captivated McCartney. The Quarrymen's innovative blend of styles resonated deeply with him, sparking a newfound enthusiasm for this genre of music. Impressed by McCartney's talent and enthusiasm, the Quarrymen extended an invitation for him to join their band as a rhythm guitarist. This offer represented a pivotal moment in McCartney's life, presenting him with an opportunity to integrate his musical skills into a collaborative setting. Accepting the invitation, McCartney took a significant step toward shaping his future. This decision marked the beginning of a transformative journey that would ultimately lead to the formation of the Beatles, a band that would revolutionize the music industry and achieve unprecedented global success. When Paul McCartney agreed to join John Lennon's band, a significant chapter in music history began to unfold. The meeting between McCartney and Lennon was more than just a chance encounter. It was a transformative moment that would reshape the future of music. Lennon famously described this pivotal event, saying, "That was the day I met Paul, that it started moving." This statement underscores the profound impact McCartney's arrival had on Lennon and the direction of their collaborative efforts. The site of their meeting, St. Peter's Church, holds an enduring significance in the Beatles' story. Beyond being the venue where McCartney first heard Lennon's band, the Quarrymen, St. Peter's Churchyard provided inspiration for one of the Beatles' most iconic songs. The grave of Eleanor Rigby, located in the churchyard, would later inspire McCartney to write the hauntingly memorable song Eleanor Rigby. This connection between the churchyard and the Beatles' music highlights the serendipitous nature of their early experiences and how seemingly ordinary locations could become the birthplace of extraordinary creativity. As McCartney and Lennon's partnership blossomed, their bond went beyond mere friendship and a shared passion for songwriting. Their relationship provided a sense of family and support that was particularly meaningful to McCartney. Just a year before meeting Lennon, McCartney had experienced a profound personal loss: the death of his mother, Mary, due to an embolism that resulted from breast cancer surgery. This devastating loss left McCartney with a void that he struggled to fill, and the camaraderie and connection he found with Lennon and the band offered him a sense of solace and belonging. The new band members quickly became more than just musical collaborators. They became a surrogate family for McCartney. The close-knit nature of their relationship was evident in their collaborative sessions, which often took place in the comfort of their own homes. The duo would frequently write and rehearse in each other's bathrooms, using the acoustics of the tiled rooms to refine their sound. McCartney also became a regular guest at Lennon's home, often staying for dinner and integrating himself into Lennon's family life. This camaraderie and mutual support were instrumental in nurturing their creative endeavors and strengthening their partnership. However, this idyllic period of collaboration and friendship was not destined to last forever. The dynamics within the band began to shift as they navigated the challenges of fame, creative differences, and personal issues. While the initial phases of their partnership were marked by harmony and mutual respect, the pressures of success and the complexities of their individual personalities started to create tensions within the group. The deep bond between Paul McCartney and John Lennon was forged through shared experiences and tragedies that profoundly shaped their lives and their music. While McCartney had already endured the painful loss of his mother, Mary, who died from an embolism following breast cancer surgery, Lennon's own life was soon to be marked by a similar heartbreak. Lennon's mother, Julia, had shown exceptional kindness and compassion toward McCartney, understanding the depth of his grief and offering him a semblance of maternal support. Her warmth and empathy provided McCartney with a sense of solace during a difficult period in his life. However, the cruel irony of fate would soon strike Lennon himself. In 1958, just a year after McCartney and Lennon had first met, Julia Lennon was tragically killed in a car accident. This sudden loss mirrored McCartney's own experience, and it further deepened the bond between the two young men. Both McCartney and Lennon now faced the daunting reality of navigating their lives without their mothers. This shared trauma became a significant undercurrent in their songwriting, influencing the emotional depth and introspection in their music. Their compositions began to reflect their personal struggles and vulnerabilities, providing an outlet for their grief and a way to connect with their audience on a profound level. As McCartney and Lennon channeled their shared experiences into their music, they continued to pursue their passion with relentless dedication. The partnership that emerged from their mutual understanding of loss and the drive to succeed began to take shape, setting the stage for the groundbreaking work they would achieve together. Outside of his burgeoning music career, McCartney's personal life began to evolve as well. In 1959, he met Dorothy Roane, his first serious girlfriend, at the Casbah Club, a popular Liverpool venue that played a significant role in the early days of the Beatles. While McCartney's relationship with Roane was a notable development in his personal life, it was not without its complications. According to Bob Spitz, the renowned biographer of the Beatles, McCartney exhibited some concerning behavior in his relationship with Roane. He had a tendency to exert considerable control over her, attempting to mold her into his ideal partner rather than accepting her for who she was. This dynamic created friction and difficulty within their relationship, leading to a turbulent period for both McCartney and Roane. Paul McCartney's relationship with Dorothy Roane during the late 1950s was marked by a series of controlling behaviors that had a significant impact on their dynamic. McCartney's desire to mold Roane into his ideal partner extended well beyond simple preferences. He meticulously curated her wardrobe, selecting her clothing and makeup with a degree of precision that reflected his desire to exert control over her appearance. One notable example of this was McCartney's influence on Roane's hairstyle. Inspired by his and John Lennon's shared admiration for the French actress Brigitte Bardot, McCartney arranged for Roane to have her hair styled in Bardot's signature updo, a look that symbolized his attempt to impose his aesthetic ideals on her. McCartney's controlling tendencies didn't stop with Roane's appearance. He also sought to dictate her lifestyle choices. He disapproved of Roane's smoking habit, which he saw as a personal flaw, and restricted her interactions with friends. This behavior reflected a broader pattern of dominance where McCartney applied standards to Roane that he did not adhere to himself. His actions illustrated a troubling imbalance in their relationship, where Roane's autonomy was severely limited by McCartney's preferences and expectations. Despite these personal issues, McCartney's professional life was rapidly evolving. By 1960, his band, still experimenting with names, was on the cusp of making a pivotal decision. They had toyed with various monikers, including Johnny and the Moondogs, the Silver Beatles, and the Beatles. Each name reflected different aspects of their identity and aspirations, but none had yet captured the essence of what they wanted to convey. As the band prepared for their crucial residency in Hamburg, a significant turning point approached. Hamburg represented not only an opportunity to perform in a vibrant music scene, but also a chance to solidify their identity and refine their craft. In the final stages of this decision-making process, they settled on the Beatles, a name that would come to define their legacy. This name, a clever play on the word beat and a nod to the beat music that influenced their sound, encapsulated their innovative spirit and creative vision. When the Beatles relocated to Hamburg, Germany in the early 1960s, the city became more than just a backdrop for their burgeoning music career. It represented a pivotal period of exploration and transformation for Paul McCartney, both personally and professionally. The vibrant and somewhat hedonistic environment of Hamburg provided McCartney with opportunities to indulge in new experiences and challenges. During his time in Hamburg, McCartney maintained a long-distance relationship with his girlfriend, Dorothy Rohn. Despite his attempts to stay connected through letters, the realities of life in Hamburg presented significant temptations. The city, known for its lively nightlife and its allure of earthly pleasures, offered McCartney many distractions. He admitted to engaging in several other relationships while away, many of which were with escorts. These encounters highlighted a stark contrast between the Hamburg women and those he had known in Liverpool. McCartney found that the women in Hamburg were well versed in the art of seduction and pleasure, which contributed to a period of intense and varied personal experiences. Hamburg's allure was not limited to romantic and physical escapades. The city also introduced McCartney and his bandmates to a range of vices, including drug use. It was during their time in Hamburg that McCartney first encountered Preludin, a stimulant used to help them endure the grueling performance schedule. Preludin, known for its stimulating effects, became a tool for boosting their energy during long, demanding sets. This initial foray into substance use marked the beginning of McCartney's complicated relationship with drugs, a relationship that would have profound implications for his life and career. The band's immersion in Hamburg's nightlife and the use of stimulants were symptomatic of the broader temptations and excesses that accompanied their rapid rise to fame. The heady mix of success, stress, and the newfound freedom of adulthood created an environment ripe for both creative exploration and personal missteps. However, the most significant repercussions of McCartney's Hamburg experiences became evident only upon his return to Liverpool. The lifestyle and choices he made during their residency in Hamburg had a ripple effect on his personal life and relationships. Returning home, McCartney faced the challenge of reconciling his experiences abroad with his life back in Liverpool. The excitement and indulgences of Hamburg contrasted sharply with the expectations and realities of his former life. Following their intense and transformative period in Hamburg, Paul McCartney returned to Liverpool, where life awaited with both opportunities and challenges. The transition from the vibrant, chaotic world of Hamburg back to Liverpool's more familiar surroundings marked a significant shift for McCartney, both personally and professionally. Upon his return, McCartney faced a personal revelation that would profoundly impact his life. His girlfriend, Dorothy Rohn, delivered unexpected news. She was pregnant. The news was a jolt to McCartney, who was suddenly confronted with the reality of impending fatherhood. In response to this life-altering development, McCartney made the decision to propose marriage to Rohn. The couple set a wedding date, and it appeared as though they were on the path to a conventional and committed future together. However, this sense of hopeful anticipation was tragically short-lived. Before the wedding could take place, Rohn suffered a miscarriage. The loss of their unborn child was devastating, shattering not only the couple's immediate plans, but also their emotional connection. The miscarriage left McCartney and Rohn in a state of grief and uncertainty, and the dream of their future together seemed to dissolve. In the wake of this tragedy, McCartney's commitment to the relationship wavered. The miscarriage had stripped away the sense of obligation that had initially driven him to propose marriage. As a result, McCartney made the decision to end his relationship with Roan only weeks after the loss of their baby. This decision marked a pivotal moment in McCartney's life, as he now found himself unbound from personal commitments and free to focus on his burgeoning career. With the end of his relationship with Roan, McCartney and the Beatles were poised for a new phase in their journey. The breakup removed a significant personal distraction, allowing McCartney to channel his energy and focus entirely on the band. The Beatles, having honed their craft and built a solid foundation in Hamburg, were ready to seize the opportunities that lay ahead. The timing was critical, as the band's popularity was on the verge of exploding. McCartney's newfound freedom from personal entanglements, combined with the band's growing success, positioned the Beatles for their imminent rise to global fame. The Beatles had already begun to capture the attention of audiences with their unique sound and charismatic performances, and the removal of McCartney's personal distractions only accelerated their trajectory. It was clear that the band's innovative approach to music and their dynamic presence were set to make a significant impact on the world stage. The year 1962 was a defining moment for Paul McCartney, both personally and professionally. By this time, the Beatles had solidified their lineup with the addition of Ringo Starr on drums and George Harrison on guitar. The band's evolution from a local Liverpool act to an internationally recognized group was well underway. The Beatles' debut single, Love Me Do, was released in October 1962, marking the beginning of their journey into the mainstream music industry. The song was a modest success, but its impact was significant. It laid the groundwork for what would become one of the most influential musical careers in history. The track's catchy melody and distinctive harmonica riff captured the public's attention, setting the stage for the band's burgeoning popularity. By 1963, the Beatles had become a songwriting powerhouse, with McCartney and John Lennon forming a dynamic and prolific songwriting partnership. Their creative synergy produced a series of hits that quickly gained traction across the UK. Notable among these were I Saw Her Standing There, a high-energy track that opened their debut album Please Please Me, and Can't Buy Me Love, which became one of their most iconic songs. The success of these tracks demonstrated McCartney's and Lennon's ability to craft memorable and influential music that resonated with a wide audience. As the Beatles' popularity surged in the UK, their music began to capture the attention of American audiences. The band's sound and style were a refreshing departure from the prevailing music trends in the United States, leading to a growing fascination with their work. The British invasion was underway, and the Beatles were at the forefront of this musical movement, poised to make a significant impact on the American music scene. The phenomenon of Beatlemania soon followed, transforming the Beatles from a successful band into a cultural sensation. This intense fan fervor was characterized by an unprecedented level of excitement and devotion from their followers. Fans, primarily young girls, would scream, faint, and cry at the sight of the band, unable to contain their enthusiasm. The hysteria surrounding the Beatles was a testament to their magnetic appeal and the profound effect they had on popular culture. Among the band members, McCartney was often referred to as the cute Beatle, a label that highlighted his charm and youthful appeal. His image as a teen heartthrob quickly solidified, and he became a symbol of the band's irresistible allure. Despite the widespread adoration and countless offers of affection from fans, McCartney remained emotionally unavailable. He had recently given his heart to a new romantic partner, marking a significant development in his personal life. In the spring of 1963, Paul McCartney's life took a new turn when he met Jane Asher, a red-headed British actress who would become a significant figure in his personal life. Their initial encounter occurred just before a Beatles concert at the Royal Albert Hall. A photographer from the Radio Times, who was there to cover the event, introduced Asher to the band. The meeting was fortuitous, as Asher was immediately captivated by the charming and charismatic group. The feeling was mutual. McCartney and his bandmates were equally enchanted by the beautiful actress. As McCartney reminisced, "We all fancied her," reflecting the collective admiration the band felt for Asher. The evening took an intriguing turn when the Beatles invited Asher back to their hotel. It was clear that there was a strong mutual attraction, but the question remained: which Beatle did she prefer? As it turned out, McCartney emerged as the one who caught Asher's eye. He had the pleasure of escorting her home, and this initial meeting led to a tentative date. The burgeoning romance between McCartney and Asher soon became public when they were photographed leaving the Prince of Wales Theatre together. This moment marked the beginning of a high-profile relationship that would capture the media's attention. As McCartney and Asher's relationship developed, they became a prominent couple in the public eye. Their romance was frequently covered by the media, and they quickly became one of the most talked-about couples in Britain. McCartney's infatuation with Asher was evident. He was deeply smitten by her charm and beauty. According to Cynthia Lennon, John Lennon's first wife, Paul fell like a ton of bricks for Jane. Paul was obviously as proud as a peacock with his new lady. For Paul, Jane Asher was a great prize. This sentiment captured McCartney's genuine admiration and affection for Asher, who was to him a significant and cherished partner. As the year progressed and the Beatles' popularity soared, McCartney's relationship with Asher became increasingly challenging to maintain in private. The unprecedented success of the Beatles meant that McCartney and Asher could no longer enjoy the simple pleasures of normal life. Their every move was closely scrutinized by adoring fans and eager photographers, making it nearly impossible for them to walk the streets or visit public places without attracting attention. During the early 1960s, Paul McCartney's personal life took on a new dimension when he moved into Jane Asher's family home at 57 Wimpole Street, London. This residence became more than just a living space for McCartney. It was a sanctuary where he would spend significant portions of the next 3 years. The move marked a period of both professional growth and personal introspection. Living with the Ashers provided McCartney with a unique environment that was both intellectually stimulating and creatively fruitful. Asher's mother, a music teacher, took an active interest in McCartney's musical development. She offered him informal lessons, including teaching him how to play the recorder. These lessons were more than just educational. They were opportunities for McCartney to immerse himself in new musical techniques and ideas. The creative environment of 57 Wimpole Street proved to be a fertile ground for songwriting. The house itself, particularly Asher's basement music room, became the birthplace of some of the Beatles' most iconic songs. McCartney and John Lennon utilized this space extensively for their songwriting sessions. It was here that they crafted hits like "I Want to Hold Your Hand." Lennon recalled their intense collaboration, describing their songwriting process as one of close interaction. "We wrote a lot of stuff together, one-on-one, eyeball to eyeball." The creative energy and synergy between the two were palpable in the confines of the Ashers' home. Another monumental track born in this setting was "Yesterday." The story behind this song is both intimate and inspiring. One morning, McCartney woke from a dream with a melody that he couldn't shake. He immediately went to the piano, still in his pajamas, and began to play the tune that would become one of the Beatles' most enduring classics. The home environment provided McCartney with the space and tranquility to develop such ideas, demonstrating the significant role that 57 Wimpole Street played in the creative process. Beyond the creative pursuits, living with the Ashers allowed McCartney to immerse himself in the cultural life of London. The Ashers' home was a gateway to the city's vibrant social scene. McCartney found himself attending highbrow parties and mingling with a diverse array of artists, musicians, and intellectuals. These experiences were invaluable to him as he sought to expand his horizons and bring fresh, inspired ideas to the Beatles' music. The exposure to new cultural and intellectual stimuli enriched McCartney's artistic vision and experimentation. McCartney and Asher's relationship had always been complex. Asher, a passionate and ambitious actress, was determined to establish her own identity beyond being merely a Beatles girlfriend. Her drive for independence and career success was a source of tension between them. McCartney, while supportive of Asher's aspirations, struggled with her strong-willed nature and her insistence on maintaining her own career trajectory. Her assertiveness and determination to make a name for herself often clashed with McCartney's expectations and needs within the relationship. Despite these conflicts, McCartney was deeply affected by Asher's presence and felt incomplete without her, which underscores the emotional depth and complexity of their bond. In 1967, the dynamics of their relationship shifted dramatically when Asher embarked on a 5-month acting tour. This separation marked a turning point for McCartney, who, during Asher's absence, explored new avenues of experience. One of the most significant changes came with McCartney's introduction to LSD, a hallucinogenic drug that was beginning to influence the counterculture of the time. Initially uncertain about the effects of LSD, McCartney eventually succumbed to its allure. He experienced a transformative acid trip with John Lennon following a recording session for Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. The drug's impact on McCartney was profound. He described it as an eye-opening experience that broadened his perspective. Reflecting on his experiences, McCartney noted, "It opened my eyes and made me a better, more honest, more tolerant member of society." This newfound awareness and self-perception marked a significant departure from his previous mindset. When Asher returned from her tour, she found herself feeling like an outsider in McCartney's world. The 5-month separation had allowed McCartney and Lennon to delve into their drug-induced adventures and spiritual explorations, leaving Asher feeling alienated from the experiences that had profoundly changed McCartney. Her absence from these drug-fueled escapades created a rift between them. Asher's sense of jealousy and exclusion grew as she struggled to reconnect with McCartney, who was now significantly different from the man she had left behind. The emotional and psychological distance created by McCartney's drug experiences further strained their relationship. Throughout his high-profile relationship with Jane Asher, Paul McCartney continued to indulge in the rock and roll lifestyle that defined the era. Despite the seriousness of his relationship with Asher, McCartney's behavior revealed the complexities and contradictions of his personal life. He engaged in numerous affairs with other women, including high-profile American actresses like Peggy Lipton. This behavior was somewhat typical of rock stars during that time, and McCartney, not being married, did not see his actions as a moral failing. However, he was astute enough to understand the potential consequences of his infidelities and made efforts to keep them discreet. The constant scrutiny from the press added pressure to maintain a facade. McCartney was well aware of the media's fascination with his personal life, particularly the speculated impending marriage between him and Asher. Despite their public appearances and the media's persistent predictions, McCartney and Asher's relationship faced significant private struggles. On Christmas Day 1967, McCartney and Asher made a public declaration of their engagement, seemingly confirming the media's speculations and marking a high point in their relationship. The announcement was met with enthusiasm and congratulations from fans and the press alike. However, beneath the surface of this fairy tale engagement, trouble was brewing. The downfall of their relationship began to unravel when Asher made an unannounced visit to McCartney's residence. To her utter devastation, she discovered McCartney in bed with his American girlfriend, Francie Schwartz. This betrayal was a crushing blow to Asher, who had been committed to McCartney despite their challenges. Upon witnessing this intimate scene, Asher left in heartbreak, signaling the beginning of the end for their relationship. By the summer of 1968, the once promising relationship between McCartney and Asher was irreparably fractured. Asher publicly announced their split during an appearance on the BBC show D-Time. In a poignant and reflective statement, she said, "I haven't broken it off, but it is broken off, finished. I know it sounds corny, but we still see each other and love each other, but it hasn't worked out. Perhaps we'll be childhood sweethearts and meet again and get married when we're about 70. Her words conveyed a mixture of sadness and lingering affection, highlighting the emotional complexity of their separation. Following the announcement, Asher chose to maintain a level of privacy about her relationship with McCartney. She rarely spoke about their time together, preferring to keep the details of their past experiences out of the public eye. This decision allowed her to distance herself from the tumultuous period of their relationship and move forward with her own life and career. The 1960s were a transformative decade for the Beatles, marked by artistic experimentation and significant internal conflicts. McCartney, increasingly captivated by the avant-garde scene, played a crucial role in shaping the band's evolving sound and vision. His fascination with innovative music and concepts led to notable creative contributions, including his involvement in avant-garde films and experimental techniques. McCartney's avant-garde influence is evident in the song "Tomorrow Never Knows" from Revolver, which is often associated with John Lennon's experimental phase. However, the unique sound of the track, characterized by its use of tape loops, can be attributed to McCartney's exploration of new recording techniques. Tape loops, a method of creating repetitive sound patterns by physically looping magnetic tape, were instrumental in producing the song's distinctive psychedelic quality. McCartney's pioneering use of this technique highlights his integral role in the band's avant-garde experimentation. Despite their groundbreaking work, the band faced growing tensions as their fame and creative ambitions expanded. The internal conflicts between McCartney and Lennon, which began to surface during the production of Rubber Soul, intensified as the Beatles' career progressed. The pressure of constant touring and the relentless demands of their fame began to take a toll on the band members, leading to exhaustion and disillusionment. McCartney later described this period as one of profound disconnection, likening it to losing our souls. In 1966, after their grueling U.S. tour, the Beatles made the monumental decision to stop performing live. This decision marked a pivotal shift in their career, allowing them to focus solely on studio work and creative experimentation. For McCartney, this was a turning point that provided an opportunity to redefine the band's identity and direction. McCartney emerged as a driving force behind the creation of the concept album, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. He was instrumental in conceptualizing the album's new persona, driven by a desire to distance the band from their previous image as pop idols. McCartney envisioned the project as a way for the Beatles to reinvent themselves and embrace a more artistic and mature identity. He famously remarked, "We were fed up with being the Beatles. We were not boys, we were men. And we thought of ourselves as artists rather than just performers." The year 1967 was a turning point for the Beatles, marked by both profound loss and personal transformation. The band's manager, Brian Epstein, who had been a crucial figure in their rise to fame, passed away unexpectedly. Epstein's death was a devastating blow, not only because of the loss of their manager, but also because he had been a father figure to the band members. McCartney, stepping into the void left by Epstein, took on a more prominent leadership role. However, this transition was not without its challenges. Tensions within the band began to escalate, and Lennon, in particular, was critical of McCartney's leadership. Lennon felt that McCartney's approach led the band in circles, contributing to a growing sense of dissatisfaction and disarray. Amid the turbulence within the band, McCartney sought solace in his personal life. In 1967, he met Linda Eastman, a talented American photographer, at the Bag O' Nails Club in London. Their initial introduction was casual, and McCartney was still in a relationship with Jane Asher. Despite this, there was an undeniable chemistry between McCartney and Eastman. They began to cross paths sporadically whenever they found themselves in the same city, and their connection was evident. At the time, McCartney's relationship with Asher was still ongoing, making the possibility of pursuing something serious with Eastman seem unlikely. Nevertheless, the spark between them was undeniable, and both McCartney and Eastman felt an attraction that was hard to ignore. Their interactions during this period were marked by a sense of mutual respect and interest, even if a serious relationship was not immediately feasible. As McCartney's relationship with Asher came to an end, he began to reflect on his past relationships and the people who had left a significant impact on him. Eastman consistently came to mind as someone with whom he had a genuine connection. McCartney's thoughts turned to the possibility of pursuing a deeper relationship with her. In September of 1968, with his engagement to Asher behind him and a sense of clarity about what he wanted, McCartney took a decisive step. He reached out to Eastman, initiating contact that would ultimately lead to a more serious relationship. McCartney's relationship with Linda Eastman deepened significantly, leading him to invite her to join him in London. This decision marked a pivotal moment for McCartney as he and Eastman quickly fell deeply in love. Their connection provided McCartney with a much-needed refuge from the chaos that surrounded him, both professionally and personally. As the dust settled from the intense recording sessions of the White Album, McCartney joined Eastman in New York, where he was introduced to her 5-year-old daughter, Heather. This period in New York offered McCartney a rare chance to experience a semblance of normalcy and peace. Immersed in a new city, he reveled in the anonymity that his temporary beard afforded him. In the bustling streets of New York, he could walk around without being swarmed by fans, and he even took to riding the subway, a novelty that provided him with a sense of freedom and normalcy that had become increasingly elusive in his life. By the end of 1968, McCartney was convinced that Eastman was his life partner. Their relationship had not only survived the trials of his high-profile career, but had flourished in its midst. During a trip to Portugal, McCartney took the significant step of proposing to Eastman, solidifying their commitment to each other. Their engagement was a milestone that marked a new chapter in McCartney's life, one that was characterized by both personal happiness and professional transformation. McCartney and Eastman's wedding in the spring of 1969 was a joyful yet understated affair. The couple was already 4 months pregnant at the time, and their wedding reflected a sense of intimacy and personal significance rather than grandeur. However, a notable absence from the ceremony was the presence of McCartney's bandmates. None of the other Beatles were in attendance, which was not a mere oversight but an intentional decision on McCartney's part. Reflecting on this choice, McCartney later admitted, "Maybe it was because the group was breaking up. We were all pissed off with each other. We certainly weren't a gang anymore. That was the thing. Once a group's broken up like that, that's it." In the autumn of 1969, an extraordinary urban legend began to take shape. The theory, known as Paul is dead, posited that Paul McCartney had died in a car crash in 1966 and that a look-alike had been secretly enlisted to replace him. According to the conspiracy, clues to McCartney's supposed death were embedded in the Beatles' lyrics and album covers, creating a complex web of supposed evidence for fans to decipher. The Paul is dead theory quickly gained traction, fueled by the growing obsession of Beatles fans and the media's insatiable curiosity. According to the lore, the Beatles had deliberately included these hidden messages as part of a tribute to their fallen bandmate, hoping to communicate with fans through symbolic clues. Some of the more infamous evidence included perceived hidden messages in songs like Revolution 9 and I'm So Tired, as well as cryptic imagery on album covers such as the Abbey Road cover, which was interpreted as McCartney's funeral procession. The escalating rumors and intense speculation put McCartney in an uncomfortable position. Faced with the growing frenzy surrounding his supposed death, he decided to address the conspiracy directly. To put the rumors to rest, McCartney appeared on the cover of Life magazine in a high-profile photo shoot with his wife Linda, their newborn daughter Mary, and Linda's daughter Heather. The magazine cover, with the bold headline, "Paul is still with us," aimed to dispel the myth and reassure fans that McCartney was very much alive. The public response was overwhelmingly positive, and the conspiracy theory began to lose momentum. However, while McCartney's efforts to dispel the myth were successful, the personal and professional turmoil within the Beatles continued to intensify. The band, once a tight-knit group, was now plagued by deep-seated animosities and discord. The internal strife reached a tipping point, and on April 10, 1970, McCartney made a historic announcement that shook the world. He was leaving the Beatles. The dissolution of the band, which had been a defining force in McCartney's life and career, was a crushing blow. The band's breakup was not only the end of a significant chapter in McCartney's life, but also a profound source of grief and depression for him. One of his most profound expressions of gratitude and love during this period was the song "Maybe I'm Amazed," which he wrote specifically for his wife, Linda. This song was a heartfelt tribute to the unwavering support Linda had provided him during the band's breakup and his subsequent struggles. McCartney's admiration for Linda's strength and resilience was clear, and the song's emotional depth reflected his appreciation for her steadfast presence during a difficult time. In 1970, McCartney released his first solo album, which marked the beginning of his post-Beatles career. Following this success, he formed a new band, Wings. The formation of Wings was both an exciting and nerve-wracking endeavor. Launching a new band in the wake of the Beatles' monumental success was no small feat, but McCartney was determined to carve out a new path. Despite Linda McCartney's lack of formal vocal training, she was included in the lineup, reflecting McCartney's commitment to sharing this new journey with her. Wings began modestly but quickly gained momentum. Over the next decade, the band achieved significant success, garnering critical acclaim and commercial success. Hits like "Band on the Run" and "Live and Let Die" cemented their place in music history, demonstrating that McCartney's talents extended far beyond his work with the Beatles. This period of McCartney's life was marked by a sense of renewal and exploration as he moved forward from his past with the Beatles. However, the 1980s brought a devastating blow when John Lennon, McCartney's former bandmate and close friend, was tragically murdered. The news of Lennon's death was a profound shock to the music world and to McCartney personally. When reporters sought McCartney's reaction outside a recording studio, his response was unexpectedly blunt and appeared insensitive. "Drag, isn't it?" This remark, made in the immediate aftermath of the tragedy, was widely criticized and misunderstood. McCartney later explained that his reaction was a result of the overwhelming shock and difficulty in articulating his grief. The depth of his sorrow was not adequately conveyed by his initial response, and he regretted the way he handled the situation. The loss of Lennon left a significant void in McCartney's life, and he continued to grapple with the emotional impact of his friend's untimely death. In 1995, McCartney faced another profound personal crisis when his wife, Linda McCartney, was diagnosed with breast cancer. The disease was detected too late, and despite medical intervention, the prognosis was grim. Linda was given only 18 months to live. McCartney remained by her side throughout her illness, providing her with love and support. In her final days, McCartney's last words to Linda painted a serene and comforting picture. He described a peaceful scene. "You're up on your beautiful Appaloosa stallion. It's a fine spring day. We're riding through the woods. The bluebells are all out, and the sky is clear blue." These words were intended to offer Linda a sense of calm and tranquility, a final gesture of love and solace as she faced the end of her life. One of Paul McCartney's most poignant and memorable songwriting inspirations stemmed from a deeply personal experience, a vivid dream that offered solace and creative direction. During a particularly stressful period in his life, McCartney's late mother, Mary, appeared to him in a dream. In this dream, she reassured him with the comforting words, "Let it be," a message of peace and acceptance. Upon waking, McCartney felt compelled to express these sentiments through music. He went straight to the piano and began to compose what would become one of the Beatles' most iconic songs. Far from the religious interpretations some listeners might assume, the lyrics of Let It Be were a heartfelt tribute to his mother and her comforting presence. As McCartney's career continued to evolve, he entered into notable collaborations, one of the most significant being with Michael Jackson. Their partnership began with creative enthusiasm in the late 1970s, leading to several successful projects. However, this promising relationship took a sharp turn in 1985 when Jackson made a controversial decision to purchase the publishing rights to the entire Beatles catalog. This acquisition was a strategic move that left McCartney feeling blindsided and betrayed. Despite his efforts to negotiate and seek a compromise, Jackson's response was minimal, framing the situation as a mere business transaction rather than a personal affront. McCartney, ever the gentleman, chose to remain diplomatic, avoiding negative public comments about Jackson. The sting of this betrayal was a tough pill to swallow, but McCartney's resilience saw him through. In 2017, at the age of 75, McCartney achieved a significant victory by regaining the rights to his music. This landmark accomplishment was a testament to his enduring dedication and ability to navigate the complexities of the music industry. What do you think about Paul McCartney's remarkable life? Leave us your comments in the section below. We hope you have found this helpful video. Don't forget to leave a like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you like it. Thank you for watching this and see you in the next videos. Goodbye.